If I think about all the people I know who got divorced, all but two are because the man was neglectful, abusive, controlling, or a cheater. The ones that I know. I don't know what goes on the internet or other people. The ones I know where the woman was the problem is one woman who got tired of her husband, and the other woman had borderline personality disorder. And both of these women came from neglectful, abusive homes. They were abused and neglected. So you should definitely avoid women who had severe childhood trauma of neglect and abandonment because they do not make good partners. I would also avoid people who've never been in a long-term relationship. I don't mean to single you out, but there's a reason that you have avoided them and you don't have any experience in them. That's also a red flag. But for the general people, I would also avoid people who are alcoholics, controlling, jobless, have addiction issues. But let's say you're a normal, relatively healthy person. You meet someone in your 20s in college or at work or through friends, you get married. Why is it that a woman would file for divorce? I think what happens many times is that people change and grow and they grow apart. And in those cases, usually there's a mutual decision to separate. I know some couples like that where they were both like, we just grew apart, and they're really good friends. Like they talk frequently on the phone, they get together with each other's spouses. They're like, we just grew apart. And other times one person will grow in some way where they now have become more empowered or they want more intimacy. And so they seek to reconstruct the relationship to a higher level to meet that person who's grown, to make the relationship a better relationship based on that one person's growth, and the other person will step up. But sometimes the other person doesn't want to step up. They're threatened by their partner's greater independence. Maybe they got married when they were both in their 20s, and now the woman is no longer just a people pleaser anymore. She has her own ideas. And if the man embraces that, they can stay married. But if he's threatened by that, then they have to get divorced. Or if the woman becomes more sensual and nourishing and wants more intimacy and affection, and the man is afraid of that because he's intimacy avoidant, the divorce can happen. Or maybe one partner starts drinking and the other one puts up with it for years and finally says, you've got to quit drinking or I'm going to leave you. And the person doesn't want to quit drinking. So often a divorce happens because one person grows towards the light, towards God, towards an enriching self, and the other person doesn't want to come along. And so I wouldn't say that divorce is the end of the world. It's not like war. I'm very opposed to war. I'm opposed to taking advantage of people, especially children. I think we have to protect children. But when adults no longer want to be together, I think they should definitely separate because I thought for years I was a good person for staying in my marriage. And I kept trying, like, how can I like be okay with this? How can I put up with this? How can I manage to keep my joy in the presence of this person? And I finally couldn't. I think that usually it's the man that doesn't want to grow because women are more relationship oriented. But I want to know what you think. Because in all the people that I know, except those two that got divorced, it was because the man was extremely neglectful of the woman. He was abusive or controlling. He was a cheater. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just tired of him, except for that one woman. Usually, that's just what I've seen. Now, I don't know everyone's situation. I just know my own little circle of friends. And basically, I don't even know that many people who are divorced. When I was married, everyone I knew was married. All the parents at the school were married. There were like one or two divorced parents, but the women were career women. And ever since I got divorced, all my friends are single. I made all new friends, but the problem was I made friends with people who never had been married. I will never make friends with people who've never been married again. The only people I will ever make friends again are people who've been married, because they've proven that they have some experience in relating. And all these women I made friends with who had never been married, they do not know how to resolve conflict. They do not know how to deal with themselves when they're triggered or annoyed. They do not know how to deal with it when I state a preference. So I think that marriage is very good because it forces people to grow, to be patient, to be accepting, to work through things, to not run away when things get hard, to work through things. And you only learn that by having been in it. You know, if you're just dating someone, it's easy to walk away. But when you're married, you have to work through it. You have to face yourself. And that's a great thing, you know, a growth opportunity. And in that, some people grow more than others. And sometimes one person outgrows the other. And I think that just in the relationships I've seen, it was the woman who outgrew the man and was no longer okay. Maybe she married him thinking I can change him. Or maybe she didn't see, she was willing to overlook his control issues or his abuse or his cheating because she's just too kind or submissive or didn't know or grew up too sheltered. I don't know, whatever, but those are just some of my thoughts on divorce that I think usually divorce is due to one person not caring about their partner who is unhappy and just saying, well, I'm fine. And I think that's usually the man saying, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to therapy. I'm not going to work on this. And then the woman rightfully so leaves. We're in an age now where women don't have to stay in unhappy relationships. I think that's a good thing. But I want to know what you think, and I'll be back for the comments.